What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing last Sunday's tournament session where we played in all of these tournaments. Wound up losing $200, but we're going to take a look at some of the big hands, some of the hands we got eliminated from, and see if we can't learn and improve on our tournament play. Maybe correct some of the mistakes that were made, or maybe we just had some really bad luck and hit some variance. Let's jump right into the hands. So I selected all of the tournaments, made sure all the hands were on, and did a sort by net 1 so that we can look at the biggest hands. Just going to be looking at the 8 biggest hands from the session. It looks like we lost 6 out of the 8. That's not a good sign off the start. And the first one we are looking at is the $2,000 guaranteed rebuy and add-on. This one must have been pretty deep. This is probably either the final table or close to the final table. Starting out the hand with a little bit over 25 big blinds, and we have King Jack offsuit playing from the button, and it folds around to us. We of course are going to be opening here, and we get 3-bet by the big blind. According to the stats that we have, the big blind folds to a steal 50%, and big blind re-steals 33%. 33% is pretty high, and King Jack should play well against that high bet percentage in position. So I do make the call, and we see a flop which is 9 high rainbow. There's 32 120 in the pot, and our opponent jams the rest in, which he should be doing all the time. We're actually getting really good pot odds right here, almost 2-1, and this would be a very tough call because we'd be risking most of our stack here, but we're pretty much pot committed here, so you could definitely argue for making the call here. We probably could have gotten it in pre-flop as well, but if we do make the fold, we still have our turning life with about 20 big blinds, so I can definitely see the argument for folding and staying alive in the tournament with a speculative hand, which is exactly what I do. I do make the fold, and we live to play some more hands. Let me know what you guys think about that one. There's definitely some alternative lines that we could have taken. I could see a jam pre-flop, even though we have a little bit larger of a stack than you'd like to be jamming with. We could have 4-bet jam pre-flop as well right here, since he is 3-betting 33% of the time. It is over a very small sample size though, but the King Jack is ahead of the majority of that 33% range. So there could be a mistake right here in just making a call when we know that there probably is going to be a jam no matter what the flop is from our opponent. Moving on to the next one, we have 9-8 offsuit playing for the small blind, currently sitting at a little bit less than 8 big blinds. Folds around to us, and we jam here, putting the pressure on our opponent, who is a very large stack and is probably going to be calling quite a bit here. Any ace, probably any 2 face cards, so maybe this was a mistake jam as well, but we do put the pressure on. But I could definitely see an argument for folding this hand pre-flop. We do get a call though. We wind up flopping a 9, puts us in the lead. We have to avoid an ace, but there is the ace on the river, and we get knocked out of this tournament. Ouch. Next hand we're looking at is Jack 4 suited, playing from the small blind once again, and once again we are at about 8.5 big blinds. Folds around to us, and I think I know where this is going. We make the jam, and again we're up against a big hand in the big blind. Ace king this time. Still a 35% favorite pre-flop. Flop doesn't help us out, and we cannot get there. We wind up losing at 2 and ace high and get knocked out of another tournament. And now we have King 10 offsuit playing from the hijack seat, a little bit more than 10 big blinds. Folds to us, and we are jamming here. I like this play. We've got a couple tight players, a couple loose players. Camel Toe is probably the loosest with a VPIP of 38%, and they do make a call. Winds up being another strong hand. We are a 36% favorite here, but I definitely think you should be jamming with the King 10 offsuit in this spot with only 10 big blinds. We flop a king, but our opponent flops an ace. We are drawing very slim going into the river and cannot get there, and wind up getting knocked out of one more turn tournament. And now we have ace king playing from the cutoff with about 11.5 big blinds. We get a raise from the hijack seat, just a min raise. Hijack is pretty loose aggressive over the small sample size that we have, but it really doesn't matter when we have ace king. We're going to be jamming here. We get called by the small blind, which is a slightly smaller stack than us. And the hijack gets out of the way. Looking good this time. We have ace king against ace queen, a 70% favorite. Flop a king. Just have to avoid a queen on the river, and we do pretty much doubling up. Finally, we win a hand in this video. And now we're getting into some big stacks here. We have over 100,000 to start this hand out, about 13 big blinds. Fold around to the hijack, who jams for a little bit over 3 big blinds. It's only about 18,000 for us to call here into a pot of over 46,000. We're getting 2.53 to 1 on our money here. We should pretty much be calling with any 2 cards in this spot. So I do make the call, and we're a 40% favorite here with 2 live cards. But that flop is absolutely horrendous for us. We need running cards, and we cannot get there, wind up losing this pot. But I think we made the correct play here pre-flop. And now we are about to get blinded out. We see an ace sitting at 3.5 big blinds. We have to be making a play here before we hit the blinds. Pretty much got lucky that we do have an ace in our hand. Jam all in, but we get a call from the button, who has pocket nines. We get a couple more out with that flop. An ace or a 5 now wins it for us. That 7 of hearts hurts us a little bit. We now need an ace or a 5 that's not a heart, and we cannot get there and wind up getting knocked out of yet one more tournament. Probably should not have let ourselves get that low of a stack. Puts us in a tough spot right there. And now we have ace king suited playing from under the gun, 6-handed with a little bit less than 10 big blinds. Just jam here. I think a jam here or a small bet trying to induce some jams behind us would also work, but we do get a call from the player to our left and wind up being in a great spot with ace king against ace queen, the same situation that we had earlier when we won a hand. And this is the biggest hand of our tournament session from last Sunday. Our opponent picks up a couple more draws with that flop. Now a jack would win for our opponent, but we avoid all of the outs and wind up knocking out a player and taking down this 110,000 chip pot. We did have one final table from this session. If you want to watch the entire session, I will leave a link at the end of this video. Now that football season's over, I'm probably going to be doing more Sunday tournament sessions and live streaming them. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the videos or live streams. Head down to the video description for links to all the poker products that I use, including Hold'em Manager, which we are reviewing our session with today. Make sure you like on Facebook, follow on Instagram as well as Twitter. I will be updating and linking to the live streams on those social media websites when I am streaming. So make sure you guys head over there just so you are informed one more way of when videos as well as live streams come out. Give the video a thumbs up, leave those comments and suggestions on different lines below in the comments section, and I will be back soon with a new video. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.
Run with the feeling of being alive while we're jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Just a couple kids living on our